All right, my friends, welcome back to the Let's Ditch Misophonia channel. In a recent video, I talked about how I used to have this really intense medical anxiety, and I talked about how the longer I would avoid these tests, the scarier and scarier they became. So when I finally actually went to do those tests, like blood work or a CT scan or whatever, I would be in tears, bawling, I would pass out. It would be just this whole event instead of just 15 minutes and getting it over with, right? And in today's video, I want to share something that I shared recently on my Instagram and my stories. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, go do that because I share a lot of things like this over there. I want to talk about, though, how a recent appointment that I made, I had to get lab work done recently, and I used some of the very strategies that I share with my clients to help them lessen their suffering from misophonia, some of the same strategies that I use to eliminate my misophonia, how I use those to stay calm and conscious during my latest lab work. So I wanted to share that in a YouTube video because, again, these are techniques and strategies that you can use if you know that you're going into a triggering environment or a potentially triggering environment. So I've learned over the years, I still have some medical anxiety. I still get clammy. I may still pass out from time to time, but it is so much better than it used to be. And now if someone says, hey, Brooklyn, you need to go get lab work done, I'm just going to schedule it. I'm not going to avoid it. I'm not going to put it off. And I think one of the biggest improvements is I can now take myself to an appointment. I don't have to bring an additional person with me. That was something that I had to do until very recently because A, I would pass out, and B, I needed someone to distract me. Now I can actually show up and take myself as a 28-year-old adult to a lab work appointment, which is a huge win for me. This was a very, very big phobia for a long time. So recently I had to get lab work done, and like I said, I've learned that I am going to schedule it right away. So if I know that I need to have something done, I'm going to book the soonest appointment and I'm going to get it over with. Because like I shared in a previous video where I talked about how, if your misophonia is getting worse and worse, how that actually makes a lot of sense. I talked about how the things that we go out of our way to avoid, our minds read as dangerous or not good to do. So I know if I put off those tests, it's only going to make them seem scarier and scarier to my mind. So the first thing I do is I schedule them right away. So if I'm in the doctor's office and they say, hey, you need to get these tests done, I'm going to schedule them like as soon as that afternoon or the next day, as soon as I can get in. So my mind does not have time to create these stories of how I'm going to die from very simple blood work, which I know is not true. So that was the first thing that I did, is rather than avoiding it, I decided, hey, I'm going to go do this thing. I leaned into it instead of leaning away from it. Now, the second thing that I did is I actually had to drive to my mom's house first before getting the lab work done, because for whatever reason, the people that requested it, they didn't send me with the form. So I needed to print it out, and I don't own a printer. Most people I feel like don't own printers anymore. I put one on my wedding registry, whatever. Eventually, I'll get a printer again. But as of now, I don't have one. So I drove to my mom's house on her lunch breaks. She printed this paperwork for me, and I went to pick it up. And even as I was driving to her house, I could feel that I was getting clammy. Like my hands were getting clammy. I was getting a little sweaty, and I was starting to think about sitting in that chair and having to do all this stuff. And so what I did to move my mind from danger, 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 what I did is I started visualizing myself at the end of the appointment and how excited I was that I made it through the appointment without passing out. I also reminded myself, why am I getting these tests done? What is the benefit? At the time, I was experiencing some symptoms, and I was actually really excited to get the results because I wanted some answers. It's kind of like a little mystery that I wanted to solve. So I was visualizing and really jumping into this reality where the appointment was already done, and I had made it through conscious, and I was good to go. I was already on the other side of it. The reason why this is so effective, well, there's a couple reasons. One, your unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination. So for example, have you ever been triggered by a noise, okay? And as the noise is happening, you're like, oh my God, that's so annoying. And then the noise stops and you're still feeling angry. Why? Probably because you're still thinking about that noise that just happened. Again, your mind doesn't know the difference between something that's real or imagined. So even though the noise isn't actually in the room, the fact that you're imagining it, your mind thinks it's still happening. So it's still sending signals of anger because it wants you to eliminate the threat or to get away from it. So in this case, me thinking about having my blood drawn, even though it's not happening, obviously I'm driving to my mom's house. No one's trying to do lab work or trying to collect anything from me. But because I'm thinking about it, my mind is reading it as happening. And so it's creating all of, the sweaty palms, the nervousness, the clamminess, because for whatever reason, my mind has decided that this thing is dangerous or scary or whatever, right? So what I do by shifting from, oh my God, this is about to happen, shifting to, hey, I've completed this appointment. I did an amazing job. I'm so proud of myself. Like, let's go. My mind is like, oh, we're not driving to an appointment. Like, the appointment's already done. And so I can shift from that really nervous energy into this feeling of, hey, it's going to be okay. The second benefit of this is that mind also is not, your unconscious mind is not thinking in terms of the past or in terms of the future. It's very much living in the stage of this is about to happen or it is happening. And so again, we can kind of trick the mind into moving from, oh my gosh, I'm about to do this thing, I'm really scared, I'm really nervous, to, oh, well, if I'm imagining this, if I'm seeing this picture, if it's done, then we survived and we're okay. And so again, it allows me to shift from those feelings of nervousness and fear to like, oh, okay, we're good. So I get to my mom's house, I'm feeling better, I collect the paperwork, and now it's time to actually drive from my mom's house to the lab. And so now, obviously, I'm freaking out even more because now I'm like, oh my God, it's really happening. I'm really driving to my appointment. Like in 10 minutes, I'm going to be sitting in that chair. And so what I did on the drive there is I decided to do a little distraction technique. And this is from RRT, or rapid resolution therapy. And this technique can be used as a distraction tool, and it can also be used as a reprogramming tool. Today, though, I'm just going to share how it's used as a distraction tool. So what I'm doing as I'm driving to my appointment, I am counting from 1 to 10, starting with the next number each time. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's very difficult to focus on more than one thing at a time. So if you're trying to count from 1 to 10, starting with the next number each time, if I'm consciously doing that and engaging in that activity, it's going to be really difficult for me to also think about sitting in that chair having blood work done. So it's a distraction technique so that I can keep my nervous system regulated, feeling safe, and I'm not freaking the F out while I'm driving to this appointment, because that's not going to be very, very productive. Then I'm just going to take all of this nervous energy into the appointment, and I'm way more likely to pass out because my nervous system will already be on high alert. So in this case, I'm just using it as a distraction tool so I can drive safely to my appointment. Then I get to the parking lot and I decide to take a minute and just regulate my breath. Take a few deep breaths. I brought my own stress ball and I immediately go inside, because again, I know the longer I sit in the car, the longer I avoid it, the more scary and dangerous it's going to become. So I force myself to go inside, and now I'm sitting in the waiting room. So I'm just sitting there in the chair and I know, okay, any minute now they're going to call my name and it's going to be happening. So as I'm sitting in the waiting room, I'm doing that same distraction technique, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, starting with the next number each time, while also reciting the colors of the rainbow in order. So Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So I'm trying to count to 10, starting with the next number each time, while also trying to do the colors of the rainbow. As you can imagine, that's really freaking difficult to do. And while I'm also doing that, I'm also making sure that I am regulating my breathing. So I'm doing 3 seconds where I'm breathing in, holding for 3 seconds, breathe out, waiting 3 seconds, and starting again. So again, what am I doing? A, I'm distracting my mind from the inevitable, and I'm intentionally regulating my nervous system so that when I go into that room, rather than being super clammy, super nervous, and just going in on high alert, I'm going in calm, relaxed, knowing that I'm going to make it through this appointment because I've already seen it done, right? So then when I actually go in there and the test is being done, if you're a little squeamish, I won't go into details, but they're doing the lab work. I'm doing the same thing. I'm counting. I'm thinking of the colors of the rainbow. I have my stress ball. I'm ready to go. It's really quick. The appointment's over. I sit in the chair for maybe 30 seconds because I am feeling a little bit faint. I tell her I'm good to go. I go back to my car. I have brought my own soda because I have found that drinking soda right after usually keeps me a bit more alert. And I just take like 10, 15 minutes just sitting in my car, reminding myself like, hey, I did it. This is amazing. Like just celebrating that I survived this appointment. I stayed conscious. I didn't pass out, and just taking time to again tell my nervous system like, we are safe, we're good, we are done. All of the strategies, all of the techniques that I just shared with you to make it through this appointment, you can also use these to get through an environment where you might be facing trigger noises. So let's say that you're in a doctor's waiting room and you're waiting for your appointment and there's a noisy toddler in the room or some other sound that's really bothering you. You can use these same techniques to distract your mind from what is happening to just kind of this fun, silly game, right? Counting from 1 to 10, trying to say the colors of the rainbow, regulating your breathing. What you're doing is you are tapping into this inner sense of safety and peace and what's happening, right? Because your unconscious mind can absorb all kinds of information at once, right? We know consciously it's difficult to focus on more than one thing at a time, right? That's why they tell you not to text and drive. But our unconscious minds take in so many bits of data every second of the day. They filter out what's not useful, and they, send to your conscious mind what is useful of being aware of. So for example, when you're driving home and you're driving down the road, you're not thinking about the color of the lamp posts on the road next to you. You're not thinking about how much air is in your tires, unless maybe you have a flat tire and it's really noticeable. You're not thinking about the seat belts in the back seat. You're just focusing on the route home. Maybe you're just looking directly at the car in front of you, or you're checking your rear view mirror to see the car behind you. Maybe you need to switch lanes. Even though you're not consciously aware of all of these things, your unconscious mind is taking in all of this data. And again, it filters out what isn't relevant to you. So why this is really effective, especially regulating your nervous system while doing these distraction techniques, why it's really effective is because your unconscious mind is still aware of those noises in the room. And what you're doing though, is you are intentionally regulating your nervous system, and you're showing your unconscious mind, yes, we can hear that noise, and also we are safe, we are calm, and we're relaxed. And so because the body is calm and relaxed, even though there's this threat over here, it's showing your mind, oh, this thing isn't actually as scary as we think it is. So I'm sitting there in that waiting room. I know that I'm about to get my blood work done. I know that I'm about to get these labs done. And typically that's something that's really scary to me. But my body is at ease. My body is relaxed. My conscious mind knows this is just an appointment. It's going to take 15 seconds and it'll be done with. So even though my unconscious mind knows that we're there for an appointment, we're there to get lab work done, because my body is relaxed, because I know that I'm safe here, I can make it through this appointment. The more that I do this, it's showing my mind over time that this thing, lab work, noises, whatever, isn't actually that scary. So if you go back to 19-year-old me, and I talked about this in a previous video, if I had to get something as simple as lab work done, I would be bawling, crying. I was likely to pass out, right? Before or after they did it. Now, I still get a little clammy and I'm still a bit nervous, but I can do it. I can drive myself to the appointment. I can stay conscious and I can make it through the appointment. And it's only because I have showed my mind over and over that, hey, it's okay to be okay while we're doing these things. It's okay to be safe. It's okay to feel at peace, to feel calm around these noises that bother you. So these are just some of the strategies that you can use to help rewire the pattern of misophonia that's been running on autopilot for so long. Again, I use these strategies and so many other unconscious reprogramming techniques to help my clients lessen their trigger sounds, alleviate their suffering, and create more joy in their lives free from misophonia. And I want to help you do the same thing. So make sure you go to the description of this video and sign up for my email list. When you do so, you'll get access to free resources, and also you'll stay in the know on how you can work with me. And very soon I have a coaching special coming up where you can work with me one-on-one for a discounted price. And this is because I have so many new faces in the community from launching this YouTube channel, from offering my free guidebook. And so I want to get to know all of you better and get to support you. So that's going to be happening very soon. And the only way that you'll know about it is by getting on the email list. So click the link in the description, join the community, and I will catch you in the next video, and make sure you subscribe to this channel as well.